Hi class, this is Mr. Tan, and today we're doing managing a successful business project. And we are in the beautiful location of Vauxhall Abbey Hotel and Estates. So let's have a look at Vauxhall Abbey. Vauxhall Abbey is really, really beautiful because if you look around, you can see such beautiful grounds that Vauxhall Abbey has. Various facilities, which I'll show you and take you on a tour later. And if we look at the building here, the building is absolutely amazing with amazing grounds. So, how does this relate to managing a successful business project? Well, this specifically relates to managing a successful business project, simply because this is a business project. This is a business, a multi-million pound business for the owners of Vauxhall Abbey. But not only is it just a hotel and accommodation, there's more to it than that. They offer a range of other services, including weddings, functions, and a range of other facilities like other things like Come Dancing. So they will have celebrities from Come Dancing to come here on a specific day, advertise this as a special event, and then have loads of people coming to workshops and paying a sum of money, $499 per person, including room and workshops and tutorials, one-to-one with the celebrities in terms of dancing. So this is, itself is managing a successful business project and how they diversify into various other things. So today we are focusing on P5, and P5 says analyze, research and data using appropriate tools and techniques. Now, obviously, again, we need to break the question down, and the first thing we need to do is to identify the key word or words. The key word here is analyze. So what does analyze mean? Well, analyze means to look at how one variable affects another, or if one variable has no significant effect on another variable. But predominantly we're looking at how one variable affects another, and that will then enable us to make decisions from that. And then the rest of the question goes on to say research and data using appropriate tools and techniques. So what are the appropriate tools and techniques? Well, if we're looking at the data first, various tools, various techniques of analyzing the data may be looking at the mode, looking at the medium, looking at the mean, looking at the variance, or looking at the standard deviation. But we'll come back to that in a second. And then the tools. Well, the question also says analyze research. So once you have the data, you have to obviously use techniques to analyze the data. But then what are your conclusions from that data? This is where your research. So the research from your data then tells you what decisions you should be taking or not. What are some of the tools to analyze this research? Well, some of the tools include pie charts, line graphs, and various other tools and techniques. So now that we've looked at analyze, research and data using appropriate tools and techniques, knowing that we need to look at techniques in terms of the mode, median, mean, variance and standard deviation, and tools instead of pie charts and line graphs to analyze research and data, but we have to analyze the data first before the research. So when we're looking at the data, we need to understand what the mode, median, mean, variance and standard deviation is. You could actually use more techniques like the coefficient of variation and others, but I'm just sticking with these 5. So what do these mean? Well, the mean is really the average. What is the average for that question that you proposed in your questionnaire. The mode is the most frequently occurring. The medium is the middle point of the data arranged in ascending or descending order. So you arrange your data in ascending or descending order, and it's the middle point from that data set. Now, let's just take a step back. When we're looking at the data, we're saying, you know, you have to think in terms of the questionnaire that you have. And you have various questions, and in each question, you will then give that questionnaire out to various people, and someone will mark each question as regards to what they think. For instance, how much are you prepared to pay for this product or service? And then they might tick a box. That would be one frequency point, and that would be 1 point or one frequency. And then if you had 100, you may have 50 people saying they ticked this box. And so if 50 people tick that box and 25 another box and 25, then the median would be that middle point. The mode is the most frequently occurring, and the mean is the average. The variance itself can be present in the data set, and it is used to measure how the values cluster around the mean. So the variance is used to say, well, here's the mean, how does the data cluster around that mean? And it is also used to compare two data sets, like the mean and the median. The standard deviation is commonly used to measure the variability. It measures the distance from any point of the data set to the center. So you could take the average and then the standard deviation away from the average. What is the most likely percentage of the standard deviation that people would deviate from the average? So then you know that within that point, X number of people will buy between these two data sets from the average, from the center. So I'll just say that again. You've got the mean, which is the average, the mode, the most frequently occurring, the median, which is the middle part, the variance, looks at the distance between clusters of information, and the standard deviation, it measures the distance from any point in a data set from the center. Okay? Now we're going to do a working example to actually show you what you should do with your data. So I'm going to take one question in a questionnaire, and then see how we work out each of these. So, and it won't be too difficult as long as you follow these steps. But there's various things that we need to look at first. So the first thing we need to do is to look at this sign here. Now this sign here means greater than. If it was pointing the other way, it would be less than. This sign here with a line underneath means less than or equal to. Going this way with a line underneath means greater than or equal to. So you need to understand these signs, because they're quite important, because we're going to use these when we analyze the information. So this means greater than. The other way round would mean less than. This means less than or equal to, and this means greater than or equal to. Okay, so now we are going to work out the mode, the median, the mean, the variance and standard deviation. But we're going to take a specific question to work this out. So this could be any question. Now, when we're looking at these questions, I'm really focusing on data that has been grouped together. So, for instance, you could say, which, if any, of the following prices best describe how much you would be prepared to pay. So when I say grouping, I'm saying greater than £5 or less than or equal to £10. Greater than £10 or less than or equal to £15. Greater than £15 or less than or equal to £20. So these are groupings. So people would then have that question and they would say, well, here's the product, how much am I prepared to pay for this? And I would say between this amount. And then again, another person would tick their box, and another person their box, and their box, and their box. That's the frequency. That is the frequency. So each respondent, each person filling out a questionnaire and ticks a box, that person will be ticking, which will be the frequency for that one question. So I'm going to show you the workings here, and we're going to work through this. So if we said that here, which if any of the following prices best describe how much you would be prepared to pay for that product. So you would put in the signs. So let's just say in the questionnaire you had 5 possible options, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and those 5 possible options were greater than £5 but less than or equal to £10, greater than £10 or less than or equal to £15, greater than £15 or less than or equal to £20, greater than £20 or less than or equal to £25, greater than £25.